I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So today we're going to do a chaos defense of this structure thingy here. So defending that area, we will have Chaos Lord leading the charge with the Master of Executions, a Sorcerer, Master of Possessions, and the Dark Apostle. An 11-man group of Space Marines, a guy with an aspiring champion with a plasma pistol and a chain axe, then a guy with a heavy bolter and another one with a flamer, and then another group of 11, plasma pistol and a chain sword on the champion, auto cannon and the plasma gun for the heavy weapons, and then a power fist, plasma pistol, and 5 guys that got nothing. 10 lowly chaos cultists, 2 greater possessed, an obliterator, a venom crawler, a rhino, some scarab occult terminators to jump in just for funsies, some warp talons that'll hop in, a demon prince to be summoned in, a knight desecrator with a reaper chainsword and a las gun, I don't remember which. And then my buddy Billy's Knight Castellan Ad Mech style. But today we're going to pretend that it's just one of these. Not that anyone's curious, but I have in fact killed this twice with this. But yeah, Billy, Bleak Rides, loan me his Castellan. So opposing them, so I do Necron assaults like this kind of weirdly. I have a Convergence of Dominion, but I don't use it the way it's supposed to be used. I use it as like a teleporter kind of thing. At the start of every Necron turn, I roll a d6 for each of the little stealth things. On a 4-up, they get something. And then I roll another d6, and depending on the number, based upon troops to Lord of War, as it is in the Codex, 1 through 6, excluding flyers, because I only have a Helldrake for the Night Lords, and my Doom Scythe just kind of destroys everything, so yeah. So for the first turn, the Necrons send through their siege weapons, 2 Doomsday Arcs and a Doomstalker, and then after the second, or starting on the second turn, we'll roll to see if anything comes through. I've played games where nothing came through on certain turns, so we'll see. It'll certainly add to the I don't know, the craziness of the game? I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up deployment here, and then we'll start. Okay, so for deployment, we have 3 teleport things. Chaos over here, we have Space Marines in this wall, obliterate up on that terrain. I probably forgot to mention it, but I do have a Noctilus Crown. Desecrator there with the Apostle, the Lord, the Master of Possessions, and the Sorcerer in the back. The other Obliterator up on that piece of terrain. Grouping over here with the, I don't know. Grouping of Space Marines. Yeah. Rhino, crappy cultists, hopefully, and some things that will save them. Yeah, that guy. Greater Possessed, the Venom Crawler, and the Master of Executions. So as the attackers, the Necrons go first. They're merely going to spit out some siege weapons, and then their turn will be done. So let's do that real fast. I mean, I guess they could shoot this turn. Just as an, oh, by the way, hello. Yeah, we probably should do that. That seems like the Necron way. Like, hi, how's it going? Whap. Alright, so, shooting phase. As a Necron player, it always makes me smile when something like this happens. So it took all 3 of them, but they did indeed destroy the Venom Crawler. So, yeah, we'll go on to Night Lords turn 1. Yeah, there's probably not going to be any movement. The Psychers might do some stuff. Let's see what they do. So, after some quick consultation with the book, it turns out that Chaos Knights aren't affected by Psychers directly in such a way. I might have to give them different psychic powers. I don't know. So we'll go on to Chaos shooting. So Chaos is playing a tit-for-tat game. Pretty much everything's shot at the Doomstalker, but only these two knights were able to actually do anything major to it, and between the two of them, they killed it. Quantum shielding is not what it used to be. So yeah, that'll take it over to the Necron turn, determining whether they have things this turn or not. We'll see in a second. So the middle one failed to teleport anything in. 3 wraiths popped out of this portal area, and a heavy destroyer with the Enmitic Exterminator popped out of this one. The Doomsday Orcs don't ever need to move, so shooting it is. So, kind of in a repeat of the last turn, these two Doomsday Orcs destroyed the Rhino. It did not explode, unfortunately. And the this guy, whose name I can't remember right now, shot at these guys and failed. So that would be the end of the Necron turn. So we'll go over to the Night Lord turn. So because the Necrons really haven't made any, it's only the second turn. There's really nothing in range for Chaos to shoot at. So the autocannon shot at the Doomsday Arc over here and missed both shots. And then the two knights shot their laser destructors at this Doomsday Arc and did a whole lot of damage to it. So he's super wounded. But yeah, that'll be the end of the Night Lords. So we'll go on to Necron turn 3. So this middle teleporter just doesn't want to teleport anything in. Just another round of nothing at all. But we did get a 10-man unit of Praetorians with Void Blades and Particle Casters on this side. And another heavy destroyer, this one with the Gauze Destructor, I think. Yeah, we'll call it that. And then the race just advanced up the field really, really close. And this heavy destroyer just moved up. So we'll go on to Necron shooting. So this heavy destroyer, once again, failed to hit any of these Space Marines. And although both of the Doomsday Arcs did shoot at this Obliterator, and both hit him pretty well, he still managed to save against everything. So he's the lucky Obliterator from now on. I don't know. But that'll end it for the Necron turn. So we'll go over to the Night Lord defense turn. These wraiths are finally close enough that somebody might be able to shoot them. We'll see. So, seeing that some units have gotten closer, this Greater Possessed charged out. Well, he advanced out, he ran out, however you want to look at it. As did the Master of Executions and the other Greater Possessed. The Dark Apostle summoned in the Demon Prince. The Sorcerer cast Prescience on this Obliterator. And that'll bring us up to shooting. So the Space Marine squad killed a Wraith and did a little bit of damage to another one. And then this Obliterator killed the damaged one and really severely damaged the other one. So that was, yeah. And then both knights shot everything they had at this heavy destroyer, which managed to save against everything. Yeah, we gotta get a little bit closer before we can get any more major shooty or melee or whatever, something like that. So that'll take us on over to Necron turn 4, where hopefully this teleporter will decide to work. Here's hoping for me. It's starting to feel like it might be an epidemic. Once again, this one produced nothing, and this one produced nothing. This one at least popped out an Annihilation Barge. And then the Wraith just kind of moved up there saying hello. The Praetorians just moved forward. And both of these heavy destroyers also just moved forward. So that'll take us into Necron shooting. So the two heavy destroyers tried to kill this greater possessed that used to be here, but they failed at that. So the 10 gauze array thingy on this guy killed off that greater possessed, and his high power did some decent damage to this guy. Nobody else's shots did anything of note. We'll go on to Necron charges, which will be these Wraith. This Wraith? God. This poor lonely Wraith. This poor lonely Wraith into these guys. So if he survives the Overwatch, then maybe he'll maul one or two of them? I don't know, let's see. Well, he did survive the Overwatch. He made it in. Yeah, so... Sigh. We'll see how the fight goes. So not only did he fail to kill any of them, he definitely died. So, yep, that'll take us on over to Night Lord shooting. Man, I skipped a lot of steps there. It's going to take us on over to the Night Lord's turn, where they're probably going to move and maybe do some psychic stuff and then get to shooting. I look forward to the day when I can do this kind of stuff and be able to edit my stuff afterwards. So for Night Lord's movement, the Master of Execution has moved further out into the field, as has this Greater Possessed. And this Demon Prince just kind of flew up forward, probably seeking out some awesome stuff. All of the psychic powers failed, or in the case of the Sorcerer, Perilled, super fail. So now we'll go on to Night Lord shooting. So this might be the shortest, most aborted Necron invasion I've ever played. Yeah, the Chaos Knights managed to blow up the Doomsday Arc that was over here, so... Yeah, and, these Space Marines have gotten really bold and killed a Praetorian. But nobody's arranged the charge, so we'll go on over to the Necron turn, and hopefully these guys will spit out some reinforcements, otherwise this game's going to be over a lot faster than I expected. Randomness of chaos, I don't know, so yeah, Necron turn. I'm so happy. The middle teleporter for the first time all game has decided it is okay with spawning something in. And it spawned in a monolith. Which is super funny, because now the monolith can spawn things too. This teleporter spawned a Transcendent Catan. And this teleporter spawned some Tomb Blades. The Praetorians just moved up closer to hopefully charge these guys. The Annihilation Barge also moved up. This heavy destroyer has moved up to get closer to these guys, even though he hasn't killed any yet. And this heavy destroyer has altered path to try and take on this guy. So we got a Katana on the field, but I don't think there's anything within range for him to do anything to, so... Yeah, I can pretty much eyeball that further than 18 inches. So, yeah, we'll go on to Necron shooting. The Monolith killed this Greater Possessed. The Praetorians killed a couple of Space Marines. The Annihilation Barge didn't really do much of anything. This Doomsday Arc Did 6 points of damage to this knight. Gives me a little smile. This heavy destroyer actually killed a space marine or two over here, which is pretty nice. We're going to Necron charging, which will be these Praetorians into these space marines. I'm hoping they make the distance. Let's see. So they failed their charge distance, but only took a point of damage. It's not terrible. So that'll take us on over to the Night Lord turn for movement. So movement for the Night Lords. This Demon Prince just kind of flew way up here to the front. And the Master of Executions got a little bit closer to this heavy destroyer. And these 4 remaining Space Marines kind of got closer to the guy that's been shooting at them all game. The Demon Prince cast Smite on this heavy destroyer and did a little bit of damage to him, which takes us over to Night Lord shooting. So the Obliterator killed the Praetorian. This Knight Desecrator killed the heavy destroyer that was here. And the other Knight Desecrator did a little bit of damage to this Doomsday Arc. So that'll take us on over to Night Lord charging, which will be this Master of Executions into this Locust Heavy Destroyer. So we're going to see how that goes. That was actually super awesome from my Necron point of view. He actually hit in Overwatch and wounded, and he failed to save, and he took pretty much the maximum amount of damage, so he is super dead. So that'll take us on over to the Necron turn with teleportation. Teleporter. Necron turn. So true to form, some of the teleporters didn't want to summon anything in. So the Monolith chose not to move, and it brought in a group of Immortals with Tesla guns. And this Annihilation Barge was summoned from this teleporter. This teleporter didn't want to work. This time it was the only one that did. Who knew? These Praetorians have jumped up here to take on these Space Marines. The Tomb Blades have moved up. The Annihilation Barge decided to not move at all. The Transcendent Catan has advanced up to here. And this Heavy Destroyer has just moved closer to this Demon Prince. Well, there is Catan. He is probably in range, at least of the Demon Prince, so we're gonna see how that goes. So the Transcendent Catan did Transdimensional Thunderbolt on the Demon Prince, doing only 1 point of damage, and it failed to go off on these cultists behind it. So that'll take us on into Necron shooting, my favorite phase. Well, for me, that was a very enjoyable Necron shooting experience. These Immortals and these Tomb Blades wiped out the cultists. This Destroyer didn't really do much of anything, but he looked cool. The Doomsday Arc did a lot of damage to this Knight Desecrator in disguise. The Praetorians killed a couple of Space Marines. Yeah, so that'll be Necron charging, which will be these Praetorians going into these Space Marines. Where once there was a group of Space Marines, now there are none. And now the Necrons have kind of an android toehold on a portion of the fortress, so that'll take us on over to the Night Lord's turn. Hopefully they can repel these invaders, but I don't know, we'll see. So after a short, brutal discussion with myself, the Night Lords are neither moving nor using psychic powers, so we're going to go into shooting. So this knight unloaded everything into these Praetorians. He did kill 2 of them, but 1 of them managed to reanimate. This Obliterator also dumped everything into these guys, and they all saved. These guys poured everything they had into this Heavy Destroyer and did nothing. But this knight shot the Heavy Destroyer with his Laser Destructor and did a little bit of damage to him. Nobody's suicidal enough to try and charge anything, so that'll take it on over to the Necron turn. I feel like this round might have been a little bit more indicative of how these teleportation games normally go. Like in this instance, every teleport thing summoned something, and all of them were super crazy. Yeah. So we'll start with this Heavy Destroyer and this Transcendent Catan, both moved up well close to the line, and in his case past it. The Tomb Blades just moved over more to try and challenge the Knight some. Both Annihilation Barges have moved up, and these Immortals just moved forward their regular bit. The Monolith just stayed here and brought out another unit of Immortals, just Tesla. So this one popped out a Triarch Stalker. He also has Tesla with a Heat Ray. He might just have Heat Ray. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. This one popped out a Deceiver. And this one popped out a Nightbringer. Lots of Catan on the field now, but only one of them is within range of anybody, so we'll deal with this guy. So the Transcendent Catan did Transdimensional Thunderbolt, killing 2 of these Space Marines. So yeah, that'll take us on over to Necron shooting. Hopefully the death of this knight. It took the combined efforts of the Tomb Blades, both Annihilation Barges, the front rank of these Immortals, and this Heavy Destroyer, but we did kill the Proxy Knight Desecrator. I'm sorry, Billy. It eventually just had to die. It is what it is. The Necrons aren't going to do any charges, so that'll take it over to the... Man. Yeah. I totally forgot about a unit, but I forgot to mention them anyway before, so we'll take it over to the Night Lord's turn. So none of the Night Lords have opted to move, but the Scarab Occult Terminators have dropped down on top of this little rise area here. Yeah, so Psychic Phase. So the Sorcerer casts Prescience on this Obliterator, so he gets a +1 to hit. That'll be helpful, I'm sure. So that'll be Chaos Shooting. Yay! So this Obliterator killed this last Heavy Destroyer over here. I had forgotten that there was a group of Praetorians over here, but this Obliterator did not forget and killed one. Yeah. And this knight did the maximum 3 damage in the shooting phase that it could do to this Catan, which also displeases me, but my dice just hate me. I don't know what it is. These guys are certainly not going to try and charge this thing, so that'll make it the Necron turn. Alright, so the teleporters still aren't working the best, but they kind of work, I guess. Everything moved up. Way up. The Annihilation Barges have gotten closer. The Immortals are just streaming forward. The Monolith has decided to move and forego bringing anything in. Both Catan got poor advance rolls. The Doomsday Arc is still just hanging out. The new warriors with the Gauze Reaper, group of 10 came out of this portal. The old warriors with the Gauze Blasters, group of 10 came out of this portal. So that'll take us on to the powers of the Catan from this guy. So the Transcendent did Cosmic Fire, killing 1 Space Marine and 1 Space Marine. Yeah, if you didn't tell, I shrugged. So, yep, Necron shooting. So the Tomb Blades killed 3 of the Terminators, and the Stalker killed this last Space Marine over here. I haven't had the Stalker kill something in a game in I don't even know how long. A year? 2 years maybe? Good job, buddy. Maybe I'll try and find your arms. Probably not. Necron charging will be this Catan into this group of Space Marines, so I guess we'll see how that goes. Oh, I always forget these guys. These Praetorians over here, the ones that I forget about, they're gonna charge this Obliterator also. I've been trying to kill that Obliterator for a while, and it'd be nice if I could. In a sad turn of events, the Praetorians did not make their charge distance. But the Catan sure did. So we'll deal with his combat now. The Catan had a series of really bad rolls, so he only killed 1 Space Marine, but they only did 2 damage to him. So yeah, that'll take us on over to the Night Lord's turn. So these Space Marines fell back out of the trench to get away from this Catan. All of my Psychers and the Chaos Lord have popped up here on the hill. Probably for a lot of smites and a last stand kind of deal. And this Obliterator and this Obliterator are just kind of hanging out. No need for them to ever really move again. And I guess the Knight's just going to hang out there and be the last bastion of defense. I don't know. But we'll go on to the Psychic phase, the smiting. So after 3 successful smites and a successful Tzeentch's Firestorm, 3 Tomb Blades are dead. So, Chaos shooting. So, all of the Plasma Pistol, Hellfire Missile Rack only did 1 damage to this guy. He made a lot of good saves. The Obliterator did a couple points of damage to this guy. And yeah, the Laser Destructor from this guy, he just missed really badly on. So, nobody can charge because they fell back. So yeah, we'll go on to another Necron turn. Hopefully this probably won't be the last turn, but if it comes down to the Obliterators and the Knight after this turn, I'm probably just going to call it. But we'll see how it goes. The Annihilation Barges and this Tomb Blade and this Catan have all elected to stay where they are, as have the Praetorians that I always forget about hanging out back there. But everything else just pretty much moved forward. The teleporters decided to be broken again, and this is the only one that spawned anything. A trio of wraiths with just vicious claws. Yeah. So we'll have a Catan power from this guy, and then we'll do Necron shooting. So Catan power. So yeah, I rolled a 1 on Transdimensional Thunderbolt, so nothing happens. So Necron shooting. Well, they put in some work, but they didn't put in the work I thought they were going to. I don't know. So between this group of Immortals, this Annihilation Barge, and this 1 remaining Tomb Blade, they killed the remaining Scarab Occult Sorcerers. The Sorcerer and the Terminator dude. And then his Particle Whip really damaged these 2 dudes. And the Doomsday Arc over here managed to take out this Obliterator that had been so annoying all game. But since the infantry aren't all dead, or I guess we do still have a charge. This Catan will charge these guys yet again. He successfully charged, took no damage in Overwatch, killed 2 Space Marines and then took 2 damage himself, putting him down to 1. Kind of living freely, I guess. I don't know. So that'll take us on over to the Night Lord's turn. So that was an interesting chain of events. So there was a Dark Apostle here, and he cast Smite on this Transcendent Catan, which did kill it, and it did explode, so it did... Yeah, it ended up killing the Dark Apostle in weird Retribution style and a Space Marine. And then these two, the Master Possession once again periled and killed the last remaining Tombblade, and this guy, the Sorcerer, cast Smite on this thing and did a point of damage to it. So that'll take us over to Night Lord shooting. So the Heavy Bolter shot harmlessly at the Stalker, and the Night Desecrator did a little bit of damage to the Monolith. There's nobody in range for charging, so probably the last Necron turn. We'll see. I'm hoping it's the last Necron turn. So pretty much everything moved up. Even these sprites moved up. This Annihilation Barge and this Annihilation Barge did not move. The Praetorians that I always forget about came over here to the edge. And the Teleporters spawned a Heavy Destroyer with a God's Destructor and Shard of the Void Dragon. Alright, so I'd have to do some measurements on those Catan over there. There might be a Catan phase, so hold please. Alright, so none of my Catan are in range to do anything, so it'll go to Necron shooting, probably the last. But I might have said that last turn too, so I guess we'll see. Well, at the end of that whole experience, the only thing left alive for the Night Lords is this Chaos Knight and this Obliterator. They're currently facing all of this. I could probably drag it out for another 20 or 30 minutes, just rolling saves and rolling saves, but I'm going to go ahead and call it now and say that the Night Lords definitely lost. So I was pretty sure they were going to win up until I rolled on the teleporter to bring this Monolith in, because once the Monolith came in, it was pretty much all over. It was just a long drawn out all over. So I feel better. Yeah. My phone broke recently and I wasn't able to get anything done battle report wise, and I've been trying to figure out how to do kill team battle reports with just my phone, and I've been having trouble, so I feel good about having finished this game. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.